Hi, my name is Hannah Wharton, and this video presentation is in fulfillment of my oral walk requirement for Theater 200. This project had two research components. The first component was we read and studied the collection of poems by Edgar Lee Masters called Spoon River Anthology. The second part was looking up stories of people who had passed away on 9/11. Betty Ong on September 11, 2001 was named a Hero of the Sky. It was 5:15 in the morning and I was just laying in my bed waiting for my alarm to go off at 6 to get ready for work. That entire night I could not fall asleep because I was so excited for my Hawaii vacation with my sister. I kept thinking to myself, I have one more day of work. It's one flight from Boston to Los Angeles and then it's vacation time. It was a regular busy Tuesday morning on American Airlines Flight 11, between preparing the plane and seating all 92 passengers. Finally, after getting all the passengers comfortable, prepped on emergency exits, safety precautions, and safety equipment, we were ready for liftoff at 7:59 a.m. I sat in my seat, buckled my seatbelt, and waited for our pilot to take off. Flight 11 had a smooth takeoff. It was 8:16 when 5 men got out of their seats and started for the cockpit. My coworker Karen Martin got out of her seat to explain to the men that they were unable to leave their seats at the time due to the plane's seatbelt sign still being on. I began to look out my window and daydream about my vacation, until I heard a passenger scream. I looked to the passengers to see Karen's body fall to the ground with blood gushing from her neck. I instantly tried to get out of my seat when Karen's killer went over the intercom and said, "Do not move, for if you move, you will endanger yourself and the entire plane." I took a second to think about what flight attendant training said to do if the plane ever became hijacked. We were trained to keep the passengers calm and as far away as possible from the hijackers. I was frightened by the sight and sound of the hijackers. I got the feeling that the plane was not going to return to the ground safely. The 5 men moved towards the cockpit in the next class of the plane. I decided at that point I needed to do what I was trained for. I tried to control my fear and calm down the passengers. I told them, "Please remain in your seats, we will figure out what is going on." I began to walk back to my seat with my coworker Madeline Sweeney. She looked as she had seen a ghost. When I got back to my seat, I pulled out the airphone and dialed the ground manager. When I got a hold of the ground manager, I frantically expressed what was happening to Flight 11. After explaining what was happening, the plane began to change directions and quickly descend. I told my manager, "I see water, buildings, and oh my God." After those final words, Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center at 8:46 a.m. Instantly after the crash, the plane went in flames. I screamed from the pain of my body being engulfed in flames. At that moment, I began to think of my what-ifs on my final moments on Earth. I began to think, what if I wouldn't have assigned myself to work Flight 11 to save money on a plane ticket to meet my sister? What could have been the outcome if I decided to fight back? What if I could have saved the entire plane by fighting back? I then began to think of the family members that I'd be leaving behind. I never got the chance to tell them how much I loved them or tell them my final goodbyes. In my final moments, I prayed to God to keep my family safe and tell them how much I loved them. It was 8:48, my body felt no more pain, and I was gone.